Alright, we wanted to talk more about the fucking, like, plan about the strings. Like, the people pulling the strings and shit. Like, how we're gonna go down to the fucking bunkers, then they're gonna nuke everything. And shit like that, right?
Oh, hell yeah. So, I write about that in my books.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to that point in the books yet. But anyhow, so, you've got bunkers they've been building since the nuclear wars. This is a thing that's been going on knowingly. Like, we've all known about it. We've all referenced it. It's in the Fallout games. You got bunkers, underground bunkers that they sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars, for millions of dollars for a room in it. And the guarantee is that in a nuclear holocaust, in a nuclear apocalypse, you and your family are safe to go in that bunker and there's enough food and supplies for you to live for the rest of your lifetimes. And then you just go there when the world is ended. So the logic behind that, they already have zombie and disease viruses. For example, there's a slug, a parasite that the slug eats and ingests the larva through bird shit. So the slug eats the larva grows inside the slug, and then it starts popping out. Two of the worms pop out through the eyes, and it's a zombie slug.
Yeah, that shit's nuts.
Yeah, so it eats other slugs. The bird eats the slug. The bird digests the zombie worms, and it shits out the larvae that the slugs then eat to reinfect other slugs. Now, that's one disease that's technically a zombie virus. Then you've got the sleeping virus in Africa. It's basically a virus that manifests as you got a fever, headaches, irritability, migraines. Then you get over it. And then a couple weeks later, you go into a coma. You struggle sleeping, you struggle staying awake, and at some point you die of it. Some people survive, other people infect other people, but ultimately, if they can weaponize shit, if they can genetically adulterate shit, because they've got technology to alter the pigmentation in your skin and your eye color and your hair color, they can alter your genetics. They have the technology. Why then would they not have the technology to manifest that virus in a more aggressive format and make it longer withstanding, more infectious to certain types of people more than others, like with AIDS, how AIDS is genetically modified. It's more predominant to affect black people. It was released into Africa, and it has plagued the world since. It's not to say that other races are immune, it's just that it targets black people more than other races.
I remember the CIA admitting that shit, and that they did it on purpose too.
Yeah, and then so I mean you look at CIA with the crack cocaine in the black communities and the ghettos, and ghettos being the word that the Germans used for the concentration of Jews in the city before they were put into execution camps. So you look at that shit, all that shit connects. All that shit sounds pretty fucked, but it's just words. They don't really connect in most people's minds. Once you start connecting them, you start to see, the government is not really so much for us as they are against us.
Yeah.
That goes back to the zombie viruses. So if they release diseases wide scale to the world in a situation where we start to revolt against them or wake up to this in a way that they don't like, if we can grow crops...
We're treated like cattle to cops.
Oh yeah, we're cattle. I mean, we're livestock. The prisons have deals with the government that for each cell that is not occupied by a prisoner, the government owes them money per head. They have to fulfill a certain quota of prisoners per cell, per fucking jail. And if they don't meet that required amount of prisoners minimum, they have to pay for each prisoner they don't have. So there is quotas that the police are given to arrest yearly to keep the jails full. We are grown to either serve them through minimum wage manual jobs, through prison stock because the taxpayers pay money for the cells, and then the prisoners are put into debt for the time they spend in the cells. So let me ask you this. If I am paying tax so that prisoners can be housed and fed, I'm paying tax money for that. Why are the government then charging them money to live in the jail? If they are paying off their debt to society, they are paying the debt of the taxpayer. Why do I not get a refund for that? That means they are double profiting. Because all that money you spend on the prisons doesn't go to the prisons. All that money the jail inmates spend paying off their imprisonment doesn't go to the prisons. That goes to the government. What are they doing with that money? Because they're getting the same amount of money from both of us, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ways that they profit, that they get money that they can spend for whatever black ops, fuck, whatever the shit they want. Like, I mean, it's mind-boggling.
It's like the elites, like, fucking, like, smacking us in the face and then telling us that they're doing it, and then...
You just
fucking,
line up to get smacked again.
Yeah, just line up to get smacked again. And
But I
then
mean...
it's like, they let the stupid ones keep getting smacked.
Yeah, and that goes back to the whole thing with, so, the logic of the world at large. They have bunkers. They've had bunkers for at least 50, 70 years now. I can't even do math right now, but they got these bunkers that the rich people buy a room in them for when shit goes down. Meanwhile, they can grow plants in any conditions. They can grow plants underwater if they wanted to. They have the technology now. We have the technology that we could literally grow plants on other planets. We could find ways to harvest water on other planets, like Mars has a frozen lake. So by that logic, if they release military technology for civilian use, like 20, 30, 40, 50 years after it's already been used and militarized, like toothpaste, for example, was first for astronauts, and they released it to the civilians in the military, like tube food and shit like that. And then you look at GPS technology. How long did the military have it before they gave it to civilians? It was a military invention. So, I mean, you look at shit like that. If they could colonize other planets, when would they release that information to us? When it's ready for civilian use. What if the civilians are never meant to leave the Earth? Then we'll just never know. But if they've built colonies on other planets, essentially they could put the rich people into the bunkers that they've built on this Earth. They could put the elites that rule the earth and the rich people, the corporations and the governments and the media and all the shit below them. The elites could just go to their colonized planets, their space colonies and shit, and then they could continue to expand from there. Meanwhile, the rich people go into the bunkers and they nuke the world, and the world dies of disease,
So you
widespread.
think the elites have the capacity to colonize other solar systems and shit already?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, and we will never know. It's like with the Nazi UFOs back in the 40s that the Russians took, and then Roswell happened, all that shit combined. If that happened, we didn't find out about that until 50 years later.
That's the thing,
No.
is like, if we have technology to be traversing space like that, and to go and visit other planets like that through those kind of technologies, then why the fuck? Like,
And not only
who's
that,
to
people
say
don't
that,
even know
that
that
we aren't
knowledge.
already being manipulated by another species that has already come here to manipulate us?
And that's the thing. That's why I would really like to go forward with all the shit that we're trying to do with the charity. Because at the end of the day, I mean, who is really going to stop it? Is it going to be the Rothschilds? Is it going to be the Rockefellers? Is it going to be the corporations of America? Is it going to be like, who's going to come up to us and stop us for literally freeing the world through the solidarity and unity of man through a charity? Like, who would be the one to stop us? And if no human being would stop us, then essentially we're just going to follow through with it. And if that's the case, then what force, entity, or creature would come to stop us? Is there some sort of sentient overlord aliens? Is there some magic voodoo bullshit? Like, what is above humanity? And if so, is it down with enslaving us with the elites? Or does it give a shit about us? Or is it for or against us? Or is it just judging us, watching us, seeing what we're going to do next? Like, people say, why can't we talk to aliens? A big reason for that is the movie Mars Attacks. You remember that movie? It was a comedy.
No, I didn't watch a lot of movies.
I feel you there. Well, basically the gist was like, it was a comedy, like parody of like all the alien attack movies. It was where Martians come down and they declare war on Earth and they kill all of us.
Oh.
And then we kill them because every Hollywood movie ends with the good guys, Americans, winning. And ironically enough, most of the alien movies take place in America. Like, there's no other country they land on or some shit. Now, that goes back to this. Mars Attacks. That's the whole fucking planet of Mars. If Earth attacked another planet, another alien race, the question on the news wouldn't be like, who did we attack? It would be, who attacked? Like, Earth attacks the Martians on Uranus. Like, now, that's not really a big issue. The issue is not who we attack. Everybody knows we're attacking Uranus. Uranus might fuck us up, or maybe we'll fuck Uranus. We might just fuck Uranus. I mean, I'm glad I picked that planet of all the ones I could have picked. But now, anyways, that goes back to this. Who attacked Uranus? Was it France? Was it America? Was it England? Was it Germany? Because we know Earth attacked, but who the fuck on Earth decided to attack Uranus? Uranus is being attacked, but by who? Now that's the question. Now with Mars attacks, the question is not which country of Mars, which island on Mars. Mars attacks. That whole fucking planet is uniting against us. We're not united. So we are not unanimously attacking Uranus. One country is, or a group of countries. Who the fuck knows? But that's why when people say, why wouldn't aliens talk with us? Because we're not on the level where we're capable of talking with aliens. We're still divided amongst ourselves. Why won't aliens talk to us? I don't know. Why can't you talk to your neighbor Pedro?
By them, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, we might be, but at the same time, we might be enslaved to man, and aliens might just be staring upon our planet like, yo, if these dudes can't even chill with their foreign neighbors that don't look like them, how the fuck are they going to be cool with us? Why would we
Either
introduce
we're
ourselves?
enslaved by something, or we're a science experiment, or we're like a zoo, or some sort of petri dish, or just like a decoration in some sort of like fifth dimensional being's like room that they look at.
Enough, the way my
Or
book
it's
series
all
ends.
just entropy and atoms and chaos. Okay, so where do we fucking leave off? Fucking camera ran out of space.
Yeah, so like we were talking about how like the aliens' ulterior motives, if they are real. You were saying how like either this is like a test or
Or like a petri dish,
yeah,
or a science experiment, or a piece of like furniture decoration for some other dimension. Or just entropy and fucking atoms and physics and chemical reactions.
yeah, and that's like in the realm of shit that I have no idea on, and like I write my books based around a parallel reality, like spanning all of time from like the Dark Ages, the mythology, up to the end of humanity, and essentially, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so the aliens in the books, like way later into the series, no spoilers because it's literally all the time. So, future Earth gets destroyed by the Illuminati, like the rich people go into bunkers, the elites go into space, they colonize planets, they begin colonizing other solar systems within our galaxy. Then other alien factions, ancient sentient ones, there's like 5 different sentient races, but there's at least a couple dozen in the whole universe. But ultimately they're like, yo, we killed all of the humanity except a handful that we put onto a new Earth to give you guys a second chance. You guys have done the exact same thing we destroyed you for the last time, which was literally colonizing all of space like a parasitic leech, draining countries and nations and planets dry of resources and destroying them, waging war. So we're just going to wipe out your whole race. But humanity develops a Big Bang device. And so when the aliens are about to wipe out our whole galaxy, you just press the button and it starts a Big Bang that ends the whole universe and starts a new one. So essentially that is where their time lapse ends and begins. And they're within a singular loop. But at the same time, that introduces the question at the end of the series when I finish it. What happens when the universe ends and begins? Is it an infinity loop? Or is it just a singular repeating loop? But ultimately, our planet is fucked. Whether or not there are aliens, multidimensional entities, ghosts, demons, whatever the fuck, our planet is personally fucked by a handful of elitist families and sex trafficking rings and corporations and monopolies and all that shit. So I mean, the biggest issue is literally preventing our planet from getting fucked and saving us from being currently fucked. I mean, we're repeatedly fucked every day that we wake up.
So we can choose to be the pawns in the strings, or we can choose to provide for ourselves and not pay other people to hand us the things the earth gives us for free.
Yeah, I mean, because if a handful of families own the earth and we take it back from them, is the whole world united under one? Not being me, but literally being under one, like as in God, like all of us are just one. And we're all like the charity commune that spans the entire earth, and you got vegetation growing on all the grass that you see outside to the point where there's literally food for everyone. Tesseract, multi-tiered, vertical greenhouse, pyramids, like the size of Giza that people are taking care of. Once you got a perfect world, essentially these 6 families, you offer them to either join you or provide for themselves like they've never done because they've enslaved us the entirety of their lifetime, and their grandparents before them, and those grandparents before them. Because they were brought into this, they have no choice in it. Like, they were literally born into the system that their great-great-great-grandparents built for them. I mean, in the 1700s, the Rothschild family started expanding. I mean, you look at all these monopolies and shit. Like, they were born into it. The same way George Bush was born into the presidency by his dad. Like, when your parents tell you, be like me, what are you going to do? I mean, we revolt. They don't, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so if they rule the world, if they own the world, when we give them that proposition, they either join us or they don't. But ultimately, we've essentially taken the world back for ourselves, for all of humanity. We all are all equal. Everyone that wants to exist in the kingdom of God is equal to each other. There is no higher power except God itself, the universe inside the universe infinitely. But, on the other hand, let's say there are aliens. If we're all multi-dimensional alien slaves, whatever the fuck, if we took the world back from those, like, 6 families, whatever the fuck, then surely the aliens would be like, yo, what the fuck? We didn't give you permission to be free and unite against our 6 designated families that rule the world. Well, then we could deal with the aliens at that point. If there are no aliens, then we just live the rest of our lives free. Maybe the aliens don't even give a fuck about us, because like I was saying before, you get a whole planet against another planet. If you're just divided countries, then how the fuck are you going to attack a whole nother planet of united people? And if we all unite, maybe they're just like, yo, they're happy to be amongst themselves and they don't really give a shit. Or maybe we would be introduced to extraterrestrial life. Or maybe it would declare war on us, but whatever the fuck it is, we will never know either way until that day comes. And the government's never going to tell us either way.
Well, chill with the Antichrists.
Yo, Epstein